Alright, this video is to show you how to change the fuel filters in a 6.7 liter Cummins turbo diesel engine. Mine happens to be the 2015 Ram 2500 four-wheel drive. The fuel filters are the same in all 6.7 liter Cummins engines to my knowledge. First thing, two filters. The Mopar MF608 and the Mopar MO867. There's a primary and a secondary filter, one under the hood and then one under the bed next to the fuel tank. You'll also need a ratchet with an 1 and 1/8 socket, a piece of PVC pipe or any kind of pipe, not required but definitely useful, about 24 inches long, a large filter wrench for the filter underneath the bed, some gloves, a catch basin, and a creeper. Just under the front differential or axle is this clear tube. It's right next to the oil pan. We're gonna take our PVC pipe, hook it to that, or just put our PVC pipe over that tube. That's the drain for the filter up front. And this is what we got going here, right down to the catch basin. So the filter is located right here. We're gonna grab that yellow valve, turn it on. What that does is it just drains the fuel from the canister there. Just turning it counterclockwise. It's just a quarter turn. Now with my 1 and 1/8 socket, I'll go ahead and just crack the top. A little awkward to get into. I like using a deep socket. Go ahead and crack the top, releasing that vacuum, getting all the diesel fuel out of the canister as it continues to drain. So now it's completely drained. The cap is hand tight. All right, sometimes those filters are a little stuck in there. I need to help persuade it with just a screwdriver. Reach down in there, pop it out, let the rest of it drain. Make sure you got that drain valve open. Pull it out. So now that we have the old primary filter out, we're gonna get the MF608 Mopar. So the new filter comes with a new O-ring here. You can see the old red one in there. I'm just gonna remove that. Just with a little diesel fuel on my fingers, just lube it up a little bit. Now getting the new one in contact with any dirt. Just gonna go in and place it in there, seat it down nice and hard till it stops. Put the cap back on. They say it's really important to use Mopar brand filters on these engines. There are some comparable ones. Take your 1/8" socket, tighten it back down. And lastly, don't forget to tighten up the valve at the bottom. So we're doing one filter at a time. The first one up in the hood, then we're gonna reprime that right now. Once it's primed up, we'll do the second one. So how you do that is about 3 key cycles into the run position. So don't start the vehicle, put it in run, let the fuel pump pump, turn it off, go into the run position again. They say about 3 times. And then what I like to do is just to make sure that the valve, the yellow valve underneath the hood isn't still leaking, I go out and I check that now. So it turns out the yellow valve was actually leaking. I've heard them fail before, but I've never had one fail. So it's a really good idea to check that. Make sure no fuel is coming down underneath the vehicle before you start it. I don't know what happens if you run these injectors out of fuel and you have air in them. You may have to bleed them like the old Cummins. But now that we're to this step, start the vehicle and let that system just completely prime before we go and change the rear filter. I'm gonna just let it run for about a minute. So driver's side of the vehicle, underneath the bed, that's the fuel tank. Follow the drive lane back down. And right before the rear differential is your secondary filter. So again, I'm gonna use the PVC pipe. And I'm just gonna go up to this drain here. Open it up counterclockwise. Let that filter drain out completely. As I do that, I'm gonna open up Mopar MO867. Now that that's drained, come up here to the sensor, depress this little thing down, and it unhooks. Pull it clear from here. You can either take this out on the vehicle, or you can remove the filter and then take it out. Grab your filter wrench. Just watch for extra fuel coming out as you break that air gap. Okay, so it turns out you do need a large crescent wrench. I'm not sure the size of the nut, but I'm gonna say it's over an inch for sure. So you're gonna reuse this sending unit So there's a rubber gasket right there. You'll replace that with the one supplied. Set that aside. The other rubber gasket. Lube it up with some diesel on your fingers. It goes on the new filter. Just like that. Reinstall the water sensor on the bottom of the new filter. Once you have all parts reassembled, filter back on. Tighten up with the stopcock at the bottom. Reassemble your wires. Good click. And tuck the wire up in its plastic keeper. Now we'll go prime the truck. So same situation for priming here. Turn the key on, let it run. Turn it off. We'll do that for 3 times. Before we start the truck, we'll double check there's no leaks at the filter. So I've confirmed there's no leaks at either filter. We're gonna go back to vehicle info, right arrow, reset fuel filter, reset, hold it, confirm reset, go down, and right arrow. It should be good. There you go. I had to do that a couple times. Sometimes it doesn't happen the first time, so.